No time, no tools, big expectations. How do you transform school culture without derailing the train? Answer: little wins that bring big changes. The flywheel effect: harnessing the power of momentum to create a school culture that celebrates change and drives itself.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Jordan Live School, and we are fast approaching Teacher Appreciation Week. And this week's episode is all about rewarding teachers, and not just rewarding teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week, but how can you recognize and celebrate your educators all year long, now not just during the 1 week. So before we get into some ideas, I'm going to give you 15 ideas you can use year round to celebrate your staff. And if you're a teacher listening to this, feel free to forward it on to your principal. If you're a principal, I hope you'll use some of these. And if you have ideas that I don't mention here, feel free to send them to us. We'll add them to the list. But I really want to talk about what's a day look like for a teacher first before we talking about all these different ideas. So doors open at 7:15 at some places. Rain or shine, there's going to be a car line that's going to be backed up before 7:15. The day many of our educators begin with opening car doors for little ones. They're waving in buses. They're assisting students as they walk into schools. For others, it might begin in the cafeteria as they make sure kids enter a safe and welcome environment, and they're there monitoring breakfast. Then they're on their way to homeroom for advising and tutoring, and it's mandatory tables, and it's encouraging stragglers to get to class. They're greeting students by the door. They're making themselves available to chat, provide guidance to those who are struggling. And, they're also, interacting with parents. They're sending parents updates on those same things. And they have hundreds of interactions, if not thousands. And they make dozens and dozens and hundreds of small decisions every day before, during, and after each lesson, all with the intent of providing the best learning environment they can for our kids. And from there, they're teaching, facilitating, mentoring, grading, planning, supervising, inspiring. And that might just be one class period I just described. We've not even got to lunch yet. But great schools are great because they employ and support great teachers. So that's why our teachers deserve to be praised, respected, and recognized. And that's why we want to talk about 15 ways you can do that. So without further ado, let's start talking about some ways you can recognize teachers. Now, I know during Teacher Appreciation Week, you'll have a lot of fun things. And PTOs around the country are going to set up, barbecues and ice cream sundae bars and, potato bars. And, they may, provide T-shirts and things. But these are ideas that you can use year round that are going to improve the culture of your school. And it's going to make teaching at your school a better overall. So here's number one. Something called the Lifesaver Award. This was something that was in my old school. My principal started this, but create a trophy, and this is like a traveling trophy idea. You can name it whatever you want to name it. Make it something to do with your school if you don't like Lifesaver. But staff can award each other at your faculty meetings, and it passes from one employee to another, one teacher to another. Could be one staff member overall, but have them say why that individual has been a lifesaver for them. They're helping me out with X, Y, or Z. Thank you so much for helping me. And then the next month they do that for someone else. So it's a traveling trophy. Number two, Teacher of the Week. This one's easy. Use technology and create a Google form that allows students to nominate and recognize different teachers each week, or you can do the month if you don't have the capacity to do weekly. But find ways to recognize the folks who are going above and beyond all throughout the year, each and every week. That's an easy, low lift thing. And it's also a way to get your students involved with nominating teachers who help them out. Number three, a professional lunch. This one might be my favorite on the list. As an administrator or a principal, cover a teacher's class during the lunch period. So basically, you're their sub for lunch. So instead of that 20-minute lunch, now they get that full length of the class. So if you're a high school teacher like I was, that could be 90 minutes for lunch. Now that's a pretty nice reward. That's feeling appreciated as opposed to the 21, 22 minutes you normally get. But send that teacher out to eat off-campus lunch with no rush. Once again, that's probably my favorite. I bet that's a favorite of a lot of folks. Number four, I call this one beat the buses. Cover the final 15 minutes of the class period for that teacher on. I would prefer probably Friday, but that way that teacher gets to be the first to go to the weekend. Same idea as lunch, but if you've ever sat in traffic, waiting for buses to get out of there, and you've got somewhere to be for the weekend, that one could be a big deal. Number 5 is just time. Cover all supervision duties for a teacher for a full day or a week. So like I said, like I started off with here, and I talked about being at drop off or the buses or breakfast duty or lunch duty, after school duties. You as administrator, you get your own duties, but if you could also cover a teachers from time to time, that would be something that would be recognizing them. They would really, that would be appreciated for somebody who does not have a lot of time. Often they're feeling time crunched. Giving some time back via taking some of those duties away for a time period could be a big deal. Number 6, the principal's parking spot. So pretty much every school I've been around has a principal spot at the front of the building. Very nice, but redesignate that parking spot for teacher recognition. So instead of the principal's parking spot, this is the teacher of the week's parking spot. So that way you give that teacher of the week thing a little bit more to it, or you can have that person could be the teacher of the year and they can have that spot all year. That works too. Number 7, teacher profile on your morning news. Many schools use technology to run morning news shows. Let students interview and create human interest pieces based on your staff. So, think about that way. You could have a student interviewing a teacher in the morning and talking about, their favorite hobbies and, things they're working on the side. Like I worked in a school that had somebody that also did, photography for the local newspaper. That's somebody that would be pretty interesting for a human interest piece where you can do, your coaches talking about, games and events that are coming up. Okay. Number 8, professional development lead. So you have a strong teacher you wish you could replicate around your building. Let them share those strengths. So if you're fortunate enough to have a principal who allows you to present to other colleagues, that's huge for your professional growth. So be that principal for your staff. Encourage them and use the talent you have in your building for PD. Number 9, ball game sponsorships. So give your announcer a list of sponsorships to read during the game. Each one should recognize the teaching staff's contributions to our student athletes. So think about it this way. You did a sponsorship in the name of the math department. And you're at the baseball game and you hear, and that is a double down the line brought to you by the math department at XYZ high school. And you could do that, football games, basketball, softball, whatever. But kind of the same deal you hear when you go to college games on Saturday. That first down is brought to you by State Farm or whoever. You could do that for your teachers and for departments in your building. Number 10, decision maker. This one's a cool idea. So you want to instill buy-in for your staff, include them in the decision-making process. Invite your teacher of the week, and there's a couple of these that go with that teacher of the week idea, to your admin team meeting. Then let them participate and let them create shared ownership of the school and provide value in the form of ideas that your team may not have. So if they're the teacher of the week, they come to your meeting, they're going to have some perspective on the things you're talking about that you may not have. And that's going to be really helpful for you and the whole building overall. Okay, number 11, dean for a day. So your AP's out sick, your dean's out, request a sub, and then pull a teacher to cover those principal duties. You're going to give them a walkie-talkie, and they're going to be able to get some experience in the hallways. They're going to be able to do some things that normally would be an administrative duty. But there's no better way to recognize staff than provide them with career development opportunities. Even if it's something they don't really aspire to, they don't want to do, they want to stay in the classroom. That's fine. That's awesome. But being able to be out interacting from time to time is going to be something that is really going to provide some growth for them overall, even just in the classroom. Number 12, Wellness Wednesday. Athletic wear on Wednesday. This is an easy one. Maybe even some staff yoga, meditation, promote a healthy lifestyle, reward your teachers. Maybe you can lead a dance class something Wednesday, but Wellness Wednesdays is an easy one. That's low lift. Number 13, coffee cart. So wheel a complimentary coffee cart around room to room once a week. Coffee isn't terribly expensive, and this has the added benefit of making certain you say hello to each and every one of your teachers for at least that one morning. Now, as part of the coffee cart, you need to make sure you as the leader are the one that is pushing that cart. So it says to your staff, I carved out time out of my day to plan this, and this is how important this part of my day is, that I'm going to be the one coming to your room to bring you coffee. That's a big deal for your staff. That's going to provide a great relationship builder for you as a leader, and it's going to make your staff feel appreciated. 14, a handwritten letter from the principal. So technology makes everything easier, which is why when you can handwrite something, it takes on a whole other level of importance. So this is the easiest one on the list and might have the most impact on a personal level because this is something people don't do a whole lot. So handwrite a note, put it in the teacher's mailbox. That's going to be a big deal when they check their mailbox. And, everybody has the mailbox by the copier or whatever. They have a handwritten note from the principal talking about how great the lesson was that they saw earlier that week. That means something to folks. So take a little bit of time to do it. Doesn't and it's something that has kind of gotten lost with technology. It's easy to send that good job email. It took you an extra couple of minutes to handwrite it. And that means something to folks. And number 15, professional conferences. This is the one that actually does require some funds. So use your PD funds to provide professional opportunities for teachers outside of your building. That becomes a big reward to your staff, and it's something you can do with the funds you do have. So that's 15 ways you can reward your teachers, not just during Teacher Appreciation Week, but all year round. That can become a habit. That can become part of the way you do things. That become part of your routine. Now, we all want what's best for our students, but we should not be asking teachers to strive for that excellence and do it anonymously. When they do great work, we should celebrate them. And I hope this list helps you do that. Until next week, have a great day.
The flywheel effect, harnessing the power of momentum to create a school culture that celebrates change and drives itself.